Hey, everybody, what is up today? Welcome back to the Good, the Bad, the Ugly of Real Estate podcast, where we talk about all of my two favorite things. No, two of my favorite things: real estate and wine. Okay. I'm Rebecca Yuson, and I am passionate about helping real estate agents figure out how they need to generate leads to actually make some money. So, I don't even know which week we're in, but we're doing 10 weeks of talking to top real estate agents across the country, all my besties, and we're asking them what their personality is and how that relates to how they've had success generating leads. You guys, so many real estate agents try everything under the sun and they think it's going to work and they go with anything that's glittery and they spend all their money and waste all their time and it doesn't work. And I'm here to tell you it's not that difficult. It's just not. So we are going to teach you today. We're going to take you to church. We're going to take you to church. And I want to introduce you to my bestie to the north, Matt Ledford. Get it.
The crowd goes wild. Yes. Thank you so much. Church on a Wednesday works. I mean, you can do that on Wednesday night in the South. You know, you can come on almost anywhere, which is kind of cool.
Church can be every day
without notice. I mean, we just open it up, crank it up, bring it.
We're opening up and cranking it up. It is Ash Wednesday, so that's perfect. So, anyway, okay.
Do I have any ashes on my head? I'm just checking to see. Just check me there.
No, you have not done that yet. I guarantee that. So, okay, first, I don't even think that I said, Matt is with eXp Realty, right? And we met like a year and a half ago, maybe, in Vegas at eXpCon, and it's just been Guns N' Roses ever since. Right? No, it's been the best. Matt is the best. He's hilarious. He's a surfer. So, you know, that means a lot to me. He loves real estate. He loves to smile, have a good time. And he is the ultimate encourager. And I
Thank you.
That's the best. So first, before we get started, Matt, tell us what your drink of choice is today.
Oh, today I have classic margarita in a high glass. Although I know you're a wine and I know you like the Trader Joe's selections. And so for the year, for my housewarming home anniversary, because everybody needs a little more honeymoon, is the honeymoon label from Trader Joe's.
What?
It is a lovely white and it's fragrant. It's very nice. But I didn't want to open that up because I thought, well, margaritas, you know, it's a margarita day. It's hot enough for a margarita.
It's a margarita.
Yes. So we're doing the Tres Agaves, which is Bobby approved, healthy, which means good for you. Doesn't have added sugars and stuff. And the tequila from Costco, Kirkland tequila. And I believe because it's paleo approved, it's got to be good for you. You know, so that mix, I'm thinking
muy bueno.
It is muy bueno, and it is the margarita of champions, pretty much.
I love it. That was so detailed, and that's what we like, the details.
Get all the details.
Yes. I'm drinking a Cabernet, of course. Synergia, I have no idea. I'm not an English major. I do talk English with a Midwest accent, but this is what I'm drinking today. It's from a very sweet friend of mine who, when he comes over, he always brings me a bottle of wine because he knows if he does that, that's a good thing.
Love. Feeling love. Synergia, love.
So that's what we're doing.
Cheers.
Cheers, Matt.
Got to get in front of the camera, you know, up close. That way the people feel like they're getting some.
You're doing a good job. You're being very Camera E. Okay.
I
So
want to include the people. I want to invite them in with us here.
I know that would be fun if we had a mass wine and real estate event. Hey, we're going to have to come up with something for that.
Let's do
So,
it. Let's do it.
okay, but first, back to what we're talking. We could just go on for hours just talking about nonsense, but let's get serious. Let's reel it in, get serious. Matt, tell me where you're from.
Oh my goodness, getting serious.
Serious.
Are we going to get serious at this point? That's
serious.
not even serious. So I grew up in Asheville, North Carolina, the mountains of Western North Carolina. And I also have property still there and in Charleston, South Carolina. So I like to call it the best of both worlds, from the mountains to the sea. I work both. I also have a team in Charlotte. I get back and forth to Asheville more when it's really hot in Charleston, and I can't. Oh, dog alarm going off. Sorry, real life.
Dog one.
It's not a studio. That's the neighbor dog. It's not very well mannered, so I may have to close the door because it likes to announce everything. And this is no edits. This is live.
We're not editing. We want people to know the true good, bad, and ugly of real estate. So we're letting that one ride. Okay.
Yeah. So check the dog test. Next time you're seeing a house as a buyer, do they have a loud barking dog next door? That's a good thing to know.
That is a good thing to know. Yes. So, okay. So I'm glad that you clarified where you're from because I don't know. I just say you're from the Carolinas because I can't ever remember if it's north, south, east, west, because clearly you're in all of them. So
I don't sit still. So I could be at any point in the Carolinas at any given time.
Yep. And you also have a connection to Florida too.
Love the Florida action. Mom and dad had a place in Fort Myers for quite some time. Cousins in Naples, nephews in Tampa. And I got a scuba dive certification that made me really like the Atlantic side even more because it's like, oh man, I can just kind of cruise offshore, snorkeling, check on my pet turtle, kind of see what they're doing with the grasses and stuff. And so it is on the future plan to be able to have a Florida office. Ledford Inc. Limited. It's there. It's on the vision board with several dive trips already sort of planned.
That is exciting. I can't wait to hear more about that. So, okay. So how long have you been a licensed real estate agent?
See, that's a trick question because I got licensed in North Carolina as an investor just because I wanted more data. I was like, okay. I mean, it was during the internet gold rush. You remember those days. It wasn't that long ago before when there were catalogs up birdies like that. Birdie was speaking to that.
Okay.
The crowd was, but it's an animal bunch. I'm going to close the door. I'm going to mute myself and be right back. I'm going to close the door. Be right back.
BRB. We're going to wait. We're going to wait for him to come back. In the meantime, we will have a glass of wine. And we will sit and wait and be patient. And here he comes. Okay. Continue.
That is the loudest dog on the planet. Sorry.
Okay.
Volume. It's incredible. So internet gold rush. I get my license primarily because I wanted MLS access. I wanted data to be able to find deals. And this was in the fog and mirror days when you just kind of stated income and you could get a loan and not put money down and invest in things. And so I've been licensed in North Carolina, for over a decade. My dad was a flipper. So before there were shows about flipping, my dad was doing it.
Okay.
So kind of a real estate family. I realized I didn't want to necessarily be flipping forever. I wanted to do different sorts of things. And so actively selling residential real estate really only came about for the last 5 years. I kind of semi-retired, sold a couple things, taught kindergartners how to swim in Charleston, which was pretty cool because we've got a lot of water around us. And, with the inner city schools, sometimes they don't get a chance to learn to swim. And so I was like, I can invest some time and help kiddos learn to swim and be a little safer around the water. And so that was one of the parts of the chapter with licensure, re-entering full-time real estate, residential sales kinds of stuff, and team leading and all that stuff. And so it's been an interesting journey, from the point that I was 15, helping dad with real estate stuff, to now being a team leader with the Premier Group.
Yeah. You sure are. So, what would you say your area of specialty is right now in real
People,
estate?
talent, connections. If you're looking for a specific product, it is residential.
Yep.
And I get a lot of referrals from agents in my network, in my sphere. So that's my primary marketing core. If you look at the bullseye,
Yep.
I've known a lot of people for a lot of years. I've been on the planet. You know, I'm 20 something going on something else. So I know a lot of people in Asheville and in Charleston. And
Okay.
so the listing that we're bringing live today is a $700,000 land listing that's adjacent to a $1.8 million home. Then I had several other pieces of land listed for folks that I've known for 20 years,
Oh,
probably, maybe 25 years. It's kind of hard when you're 20 something to know people that far back, but kindergarten works.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, yeah. And so I have several land listings, but the well priced homes are better because they sell faster. Land takes a while sometimes.
Land can take some time, but if it's prime, you're fine. We're doing some sort of rhymings. So, okay, Matt, I already know what your personality is. Like, if anybody meets you in 5 minutes, they know what it is. But you have to tell us. You just recently retook the disc profile test.
Yes.
What did it say you are? And be honest.
Well, you need a fresh disc every so often because sometimes you do different roles and it can migrate a little bit. But I think I have always been a very high I.
You think?
I think, yeah, and there's some D. I mean, the D tries to compete for the I, but the I always wins. It's like, no, that D stuff is not as much fun as the I stuff. I mean, let's keep the fun levels up.
Yeah. So probably when you you know what you're doing, been there, done it, you kind of the D comes out and it's like, listen,
Yeah,
this is just how it is. Okay. So stop it. Right.
yeah.
So that would make sense then. You're very friendly. You've been making good friends and relationships your whole life. And now you receive referrals.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
it's amazing.
you probably meet new people every day. You probably don't have to say, hey, I'm just going to go out and meet people. You probably just go out and live your life. And you probably have people following behind you
Yeah.
because
Well,
you have that.
yeah, and then social media helps amplify that. I mean, I don't share everything on social media, but it's interesting how like you share things that are interesting or creative, and it's people are reminded that you exist, and they reach out to you to talk about real estate because I
Uh-huh.
talk very little about real estate on my social channels. I mean, I've got some things that it's like, okay, yeah, he listed this or he put this under contract or whatever, but it's not the majority of my content is not about real estate. Although I do share a lot of news about real estate because I think it's important to inform the people that I know, like, and trust, that know, like, and trust me to help them keep abreast of what's happening in the market. And for my teams, for the people I'm mentoring and for the people that are in our network, to be able to give them value. And so it's interesting how that network thing works and then how social amplifies it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a lesson in social media too. You share what you enjoy, you
Right.
share who and what you are, make sure everyone knows you're in real estate, but you connect with people because they like similar things.
Right.
So
Right.
you got it. So, did you ever? I mean, this isn't what you set out to do. You've kind of fallen into it, and it's just been your life. Have you ever been told or someone tried to teach you different ways to generate business?
I'm not a fan of scripts or tie down or things like that. I'm much more okay. We need crayons and we want to color outside the lines and give me some talking points.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
They're
whoa.
too
You don't
fast.
like scripts?
I do not like scripts. I don't like scripts.
Why?
They're too scripted. They're
Because it's
not
not
real.
you.
They're not real. Now, if you give me some talking points for conversation to help me get from A to B, or you give me some great questions to ask, he who asks the questions controls the conversation. Wouldn't you say?
Ooh.
Can you agree?
I totally agree. He who asks the questions and then shuts their mouth. I did take that a step further. That comes from a true S. So,
We got two of these. One of
that's
these.
right. That's right. Okay, so you don't like scripts, and that's so funny because I really think the D personalities love the scripts, and maybe the C's, if they are making phone calls, they just, nah, we're hammering this out right now, we're gonna get it done. But I's don't. I's just do whatever they want, and they love it. Okay, so no scripts. So no, I don't know. Have you ever done cold calling?
I don't like cold calling because I have to have purpose. And so here's what I do. Here's what I like doing. I'm so people oriented. My version of cold calling is circle prospecting around a listing. And the way that usually plays out is to say, hey, we just listed this house in your neighborhood and it's really cute. It's really sweet. I'd love you to see it. We're having an open house this weekend. Love you to come by. We're going to have great refreshments. But I think we like helping people. This is a chance to pick your neighbor, right? You don't get a chance every day to pick your neighbor. And so this is an opportunity to do that. Do you know anybody, friends or family, who would want to move to the neighborhood that you'd want to be your neighbor? Because there are a lot of people you don't want to be your neighbor, so you're not going to, don't tell them about this house. But
yeah, that's a good one.
the
That's a
ones,
good script.
they like that. They like that, and so it's a great opportunity. And so reaching out both in person, which I do, walking neighborhoods because I like to walk and see who's working in their yard and talk to them and see what's going on in their world. But I will pick up the phone around listings, and then see if there's interest, in seeing the house and other potential connections to help that house get sold for my clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's not a script. I mean, I do kind of say the same thing, but it's really leading with contribution, building relationship, trying to be helpful, because it's like, well, yeah, if it's right next door, I mean, to have a really loud dog move in next door, you wouldn't want that, would you? You'd really like to pick your neighbor that has a quiet dog or a cat.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so I know you sell a lot of real estate and you've had so much success in your past. And because you're giving, that has turned into helping other agents and newer agents really build their own business. And I just have to promote Matt right now because he did a class for us once and it was all about mindset and just being positive no matter what. And I love that stuff because why be so hard on yourself? Just live, have fun, enjoy what you're doing, and you'll have so much success.
Right. Have joy in the moment. I mean, realizing the power of this moment that will not be here again, right? And being grateful for it and being grateful for the people that God brings into your world, and it's like, oh, there's purpose in this, I mean, sometimes things feel random, but you're like, no, not so random. Sometimes if you look back in the rearview mirror, you're like, oh, that wasn't random. That was kind of cool how that domino set up this other domino that created these opportunities that are just incredible.
That's so fun. I love it. I love your outlook and your perspective and all of that good stuff. So, okay, this has gone too fast. I thought we would go an hour into this and be totally off on a tangent, but we're doing good. We're
You
focused.
can go there if you want. I mean, I've got tangents galore. I mean, I can help you with that.
I know you can. Okay, well, you get the mic for this last question. Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, you're a little bit different. Most people just one day decided, I'm getting my real estate license and that's it. This is what I'm doing. But your life kind of just progressed into it. It was leading to it eventually anyway. You didn't really want to do it, but you saw it could be an asset to you for your investing.
Right.
So, let's say you're talking to a brand new agent that they've been an investor their whole life. They've grown up in the business and they, just like you, wanted to get their real estate license so they could learn more information and have some of the secrets.
Right.
What's your best advice to that kind of a brand new agent?
Coming from the investing side, it's to think about selling residential real estate. It's a different mindset because you're used to buying wholesale, and then you're then going to start selling retail. And because you're representing clients that are listing with you, that are trusting you to get the highest and best, or the best. I prefer the best and highest, because the highest is not always the best.
True.
But you'll help them reach their goals for whatever that next chapter is, for whatever that next step is. And so ultimately, as an investor, part of what I would tell them is it's not all about you making the most money, although you can make very great money, but it's about making a difference in the world where you're planted, and helping that community be lifted because of your generosity, because you're in the business making a difference ultimately in people's lives. Because money, at the end of the day, nobody's stacking stacks of Benjamins around the casket. There's a legacy that we're all here to leave. You're Rebecca's shocked by that. It's like, no, they really don't. You don't ever see that, or
As long as I go with a bottle of wine, I'm good.
the hearse, the hearse doesn't have the U-Haul behind it. No, it doesn't work like that.
Okay.
But the wealth in those relationships that you have an opportunity to build in this business are incredible, and I believe that, really all real estate professionals have the potential for at least 5 streams of income to fulfill probably at least 10 dreams on their bucket list. And so a lot of times business planning is a little dry. And so one of the things that I've been sharing with folks is the 5 streams and 10 dreams piece. And the first piece is personal production. It's like, okay, you're selling, you're doing some transactions, right? Investing is a part of that piece. Investing in other agents is a part of that piece. Having good paper like EXP stock, another part of that piece. And then eventually teaching and training and having downloadable product or classes or coaching could be the fifth part of that. But you should have at least 10 dreams that can help you fulfill. And so putting those things together for new agents, it's like, okay, because sometimes it's like, okay, so I have to make 100 calls to get this many appointments and then get this many listings. It's like the numbers, it's like, unless there's an emotional component, and Simon Sinek and the why is one part of that, but it's like, oh no, what is really the why? What are the 10 dreams that this is going to help make come true in your world, in your life, that's going to make a difference for you and for the people that you care about? And so that's kind of how I would approach that for someone coming like I did as an investor, having done other businesses, having kind of ridden the internet gold rush with online catalogs and such, because I was an internet marketer. I was a Google partner. We did AdWords, and that was one of the ways I generated leads when I started in the business, in addition to my sphere. And then targeting neighborhood farms where I wanted to sell what's in that neighborhood because I liked it. And so I did fewer transactions, but made more money. Who would like to do that? Anybody?
Pretty much everybody.
Right? I heard somebody on one of the early podcasts did 100 transactions plus. I was like, oh God, no. Fewer transactions, better dollar volume, managed transactions.
Okay, but be careful with that, because for new agents, a deal is a freaking deal.
It was a deal.
Just get some deals in.
Get them in. Well, and honestly, get in relationship with people where you have agreements, that you're working, that you're really delivering value and getting dates on the calendar. I mean, the bottom line in real estate is if you don't have a closing coming up, you're unemployed.
Yeah.
And that's scary. That's scary. It's like, oh man, if you're used to a regular paycheck, real estate is tough. I mean, I would tell new agents, get some reserves or get something stable that is flexible enough that you can grow your real estate business at the same time. Yep. Because it does take a ramp up. It does take a runway, even for people that are knowledgeable, smart, hardworking, because the timelines are longer. It's hard to ring the register day one. It's not like bartending where you can get tips as soon as you walk in. You walk away at the night, you got money in your pocket. Yep. Real estate doesn't work like that.
That's right. Wow. Okay. What? You just stopped. Are you done?
I'm not. Well, ask me something else. Hey, you were saying, I'm going to ask you a question. Two of your favorite things. Wine.
Yep.
You have more than 2 favorite things. What are more of your favorite things?
Oh, I mean, I just love
everything. Can we do top 5 list or top 10 if you can riff through that?
Do you want me to share?
Sure.
Oh, okay. The sun, the ocean, surfing, hanging out with my friends, meeting new people. How many was that? Living,
just living in general. Yeah.
Just living and like looking looking, experiencing, traveling. I don't know how many that
I love
was.
it. I love it. You're up to you're not up to 10 yet, but I think you're about 5, and that's pretty cool because that's a
Yeah.
part of who you are. That's a part of your brand. I mean, when we start to think about, how are you different than the other people on the planet for these new agents, right?
Oh,
It's like
yes.
because I like doing open water ocean swims. That makes me kind of unusual. That although they're with current, they're still with all the fishies, and some people get freaked out by that. But for me, it's a celebration of being alive, right? And so I have 2 open water swims. Each of them are at least 2 miles coming up, and I love those days. Those are some key days in my life every year that I look forward to as a milestone. Swimming in the Charleston Harbor where the big ships come in and out, and going under the big bridge, under the Ravenel Bridge, which if you've been to Charleston, it's lovely bridge, and then getting out at the aircraft carrier. I mean, for me, it's like, okay, God has given me this cool spacesuit that I can use to do all kind of cool things, and that's awesome, And I try to take care of it, stay healthy, and to keep doing all these things that are fun and enjoyable, And so to be able to enjoy life, and to play in the surf, so even if the surf gets bigger, it's like, okay, how big is too big? A hurricane surf? I don't think I want to get beat up that
No, I've been in some scary surf, and that takes a little bit to get over. But if you have a good coach, they'll get you back out. They'll
That's right.
push you back out and say, "Get out there.
Get after it. Go. You're all right. You're all right.
You drown. Don't worry."
The board is big enough. It's floaty enough. You can
Yeah.
make your way in. It's not as bad as you think. But when you're right up on top of challenges, everybody has challenges in life, right? It's like, oh, well, that seems really big at the time, but then later you're like, oh, well, I made it through it. I'm stronger, and better for it. In the process, for sure.
Absolutely. I just heard this morning, what was I listening to? The news. I watch the news sometimes. But the newscaster was talking about failing, and she said, "I tell my kids all the time, you're going to fail, 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 fail. But that's okay. It's good." So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if you're not failing, you're losing.
It's
So,
interesting the difference on the East Coast and the West Coast. I mean, doing work with Yahoo and Silicon Valley for so many years, the difference, East Coast, there's much more of a penalty on failure in the mindset of most East Coasters. It's like, oh, failing, unless you're a techie, right? And then techies fail fast, fell forward, move on, right? And then create, what's the next, what are you working on? What's the next thing you're working on? I mean, that's a classic question that I get from my friends in tech. But the West Coast is, that failure is learning. It's a part of life. It's a part of the experiment. You manage your risks. You try to manage expectations for all the stakeholders that you have at the table. But ultimately, failure, we label failure as a negative thing when it's not always. In fact, failure is rarely fatal. It can be fatal if you make some mistakes. There's little stupid mistakes. It's like, okay, that was not a really good idea. That parachute was defective. I mean, so you want to be sure who's packing your chute, right?
yes.
But being able to recognize that, and it's like you're experimenting. One of the things too with real estate agents, especially young real estate agents, is we tend to chase rabbits. And I don't know all personality types. I mean, have you found that some personality types chase rabbits more than others, or is it to be a realtor is to chase rabbits?
Well, I think it's to be a realtor, but I think it's the eyes chase the most rabbits. I tend to gravitate towards the eyes. I'm the S, so they do all the things, and I just am following along. But the eyes, there's squirrels everywhere, and but the S's will just kind of like. I'm done. I can't be hurt anymore by all these squirrels. Anyway, so yeah, the D's, they don't really get distracted ever. But the eyes,
I don't
have
understand
a lot
that.
of glitter.
Yeah, there's so many things to be distracted by. I mean, that's good. I mean, that's good to know, and that's good information for your audience. Because understanding your propensity to distraction, and also to be able to see things through until they yield fruit. Because there's no such thing as instant fruit in any business, right? It's like, okay, the things I'm doing today will yield in about 90 days, more or less, not necessarily sooner than that. But, realizing that and managing that expectation for the level of effort that I'm putting forth, the consistency over time that I'm doing and whatever activity it is, whether it's internet marketing. I mean, one of the things that you do internet leads, you still got to pick up the phone and call them. They can go into your CRM, and it's like if they're just sitting there and you don't get a relationship with them, they just sit there, right?
Yep.
But one of the texts that I had one of my teammates test out that we tested again and again and again. And this time of year, February is not a bad time to do it. Is with your CRM, you have a database, right? To send out a text to say, hey, I don't want to drop the ball here, but are you interested in buying or selling any real estate this year? Question mark. Now, an agent, one of my team just did this, and she left in the realtors, which was kind of fun because it generated real estate conversations with realtors who might want to join our team. Happy accident, right? But there are also folks, who will say, yes, I still am interested in doing something, or no, I'm not. But at least you initiate a conversation, and it's an easy text to your database that takes very little time.
Yep.
And leverage lots of great conversations from it. And so that's a nice takeaway to be able to give folks.
That is a nice takeaway. And it also reminds us it's always good to have a running buddy or an accountability partner or a coach or somebody that has your best interest in mind, and that maybe they've been there, done that, or maybe they haven't, but they're going to hold you accountable and they're going to be honest with you about what you're doing. So don't be alone.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Well, teamwork makes the dream work, right? I mean, sharing the things that we're sharing, it's good. It's good stuff. Yep. So nice to get to see you on your My Real Estate Agent Lifestyle. Love following you on Insta. It's great content. You're out there doing cool stuff, making me want to be doing more stuff in Florida, especially in the wintertime. So appreciate you doing that.
Yes. Well, I so appreciate your time and being open and honest with us. I know your advice is going to help so many agents get to the next level. And until next time, live life, right?
Live life and live it well, y'all. And if I can help anybody out there who sees this, reach out to me, MatthewLedford.com. Feel free. All my socials are there. I share stuff about real estate and life there, and also some great hikes in Asheville and some cool places to eat in Charleston. So that's a great place for folks to reach me if they want to stay in touch or get in touch. But thank you for the opportunity to be on your show. I appreciate it so much. Always appreciate getting to see you, even if it's a little tiny screen.
I love it. Okay, Matt. Thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
See you soon.
And until next time.
High fives. Until next time.